Our next presenter is another multi-award winner. We know technically Gary Wilson as past District Governor, past International Director, Member of the Order of Australia, winner of the District Evaluation Contest, winner of District Toastmaster of the Year, Presidential Citation, won the Club Toastmaster of the Year more than anyone else. However, the definitive statement about Gary Wilson was actually made at our 40th anniversary by one of this club's favourite sons, Bob Hicks, who said, Gary Wilson is Parramatta Toastmasters. Would you agree with that? Gary Wilson is Parramatta Toastmasters. I described earlier Elizabeth Wilson as the heart of our club. There's no doubt in my mind that Gary Wilson is its very soul. Gary was asked a few weeks ago, what makes our club so consistently successful? Why do its members believe in themselves and in the club so much? Gary then set about the task of answering that question. And so, with our culture, please welcome the soul of Parramatta Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmaster, Gary Wilson.
Wow, 50 years. And unlike some of us, the club is showing no signs of slowing down. Mr. MC, ladies and gentlemen, to answer the question of why the club's been so successful for so long, I first had to eliminate things that it wasn't. I mean, it's not this lectern that Michael said loves so much, and the banner, and the old-timer, and all the other assets we've acquired over the years. They don't define our club. And it hasn't been our membership. So our membership has been the same rolling, rotating membership every year that every other club has. It hasn't been our leadership, because every year, we have a new president, a new executive team, yet the same club rolls on so successfully. And only one constant throughout this period has been our culture. Now look at our culture. We've actually had two distinct phases of our culture, both very successful. The first 25 years was the blokey culture, meeting in an all-male environment in the Parramatta Leeds Club, closely affiliated with the Parramatta Eels. When we were rolling successfully in the 80s, on the other side of the glass wall, Jack Gibson had the very successful Eels on the other side, and they were champs, and we were both supporting each other. Then the Eels fell off. The Eels fell off the Eels. And we moved down into Parramatta. 25 years ago, we changed our target market. We became a more caring club by many women. And then we started on a new journey. Now when I look at the culture we've had, I see three distinct phases to our culture, three distinct aspects of our culture. Each is important, and independently they go together to gel to make the club culture. Now the first of these you heard a lot about tonight already. It's speechcraft. More than 20 years ago, we started on this pattern of running multiple speechcraft courses every year. And many, many years ago, we settled to the current routine, 4 courses a year, each during the school term, coinciding with the school term, and each graduating 50 to 60 speechcrafters every year. From those speechcrafters, usually around 8 join our club. It's not that we need the 8 members, but Toastmasters insists, as you know, in the Distinguished Club plan, you want to have all your goals, and every year we always get all our goals in the Distinguished Club plan. Therefore, you have to have 8 new members, whether you like it or not. So bring them in. And that's why, that explains why we have 65 current members at the moment. Because we have to, we never lose 8 members in a year, never lose 8 members in a year, so we have to keep adding and getting bigger and bigger. And we just added 2 more, actually 67. Now last meeting we inducted 2 more in the last speechcraft course. That explains why the club's so large. But what's important important about speechcraft is who runs it. Because when members join our club, the first thing you do is you encourage them to go back and help the next speechcraft course. They show any talent at all, they then become coordinators. All our people courses are coordinated by people 1 or 2 years out of speechcraft. Because speechcraft's identified with that level. They don't want super experienced people, they want people just a little bit above them who know what they're going through. So that's the key to our system. And what we did in 1992, we adopted the motto that John Taylor told you earlier about, which reflects this way of how we take these new members and make them into coordinators of speechcraft. Because we're all about helping people help themselves, develop the skills to help other people. If we turn our new members into givers and start making them help people early, that's the way we start making them into leaders. So this is a very important aspect of our culture. I've got a human face on it too. Peter Steiner at the beginning of the night said how he and Wendy Lipsky and Sam McKinsey joined the course in 2008, I think he said, Peter. Yeah. So what happened? Each of them went back in and each was required to coordinate 2 speechcraft courses each, which they did. Sam went on to do about 5 in the year. And then they went into club office. Sam became club president. He now runs his own training company in Parramatta, statewide. Peter's now our current president. Wendy Lipsky became president of another club in the area, that's now a DTM. That's the regression. But they're not special, those 3. Peter mentioned them, so I mentioned them. I can pick on people all around this room and tell a similar story about this regression. Nearly all our presidents in the last 20 years come through speechcraft. All top leaders like Michael said, past District Governor Ian Chick, all proudly speechcrafters, who then came in and went back and ran speechcraft and started to learn how leaders are made. So you see that this speechcraft system is the fundamentals of the culture of building the club and training people to give of themselves. This has been the key. And it works, of course, it does require, and has been mentioned, it does require an organisation behind it and mentorship. And today, Tom Woods, Robin Peck provide that behind the scenes. And of course, the whole system wouldn't work without Elaine Woods, whose food makes for happy speechcrafters. The second aspect of our culture, quite different, but this affects our club meetings. This is our standard of evaluation. Evaluation is so critical for Toastmasters clubs. And for some reason, we've had a culture of excellence in evaluation for virtually 50 years. I don't know why it's happened, I don't know how it stays that way, but it just did. We've had so many excellent evaluators, and their style just seems to rub off like osmosis to other members, and the culture perpetuates. You can see this externally. Since the district started evaluation contest in 1980, we've had 6 different members win the contest, evenly spaced in time over the years. 3 in our all-male environment, 3 since. No other clubs had more than 2 women, 2 members win. In that case, they were so far apart in time, it didn't reflect on the club culture. But I believe our 6 winners does reflect this overall culture. Elizabeth Wilson was our great winner. She won the district contest twice. And since then, she's done innumerable training sessions all around the district, working to instill a great system of evaluation, which works so well for newer members, speechcrafters, and everybody. And she's worked so hard to keep the culture alive in the club. And that's important. Leaders in our district, over the years, who travel around the district, always comment on the fact that if you go to the Parramatta Club evaluation contest each year, the standard of that contest, and I mean the standard across the contest, not the winner. We're not focused on whether the winner becomes a champion or not. What we're worried about is, here's the standard. We have 10 people, we usually have about 10 people in the evaluation contest. Are those 10 really of a high standard? And they always say, the Parramatta standard is such that it far outstrips any area contest and most division contests, because this is an even contest that we're all about. So, to me, far more than speaking, evaluation is the core of a good Toastmasters club. You have a good evaluation standard and culture in the club, you're going to have a good club. Because evaluation is all the skills of leadership, of listening, thinking, and then speaking. Especially in the extemporaneous style, because in the Parramatta culture, nearly all evaluations are given without notes. This is our culture. So that's been a really part of keeping the meetings and standing so successful. The third aspect of our culture has been our website. We've had a website for 18 years, a couple of years longer than the district's had a website, and it's been very important. It's well recognised, it's always been the top website in our district. It always scores very highly in any Google search for Toastmasters. It works to attract streams of visitors through our meetings. Sometimes 10 to 20 visitors we'll get at a meeting. It fills our speech craft courses up long before the start date. None of those things are important to our culture. It is important, but it's not the key. What's the important part of the website has been how we've used it to record, document our history, our winners, our traditions. We record all our best practices and procedures and we put them on the website. All our resources are there. The most important of those are our Guide to Assignments. We've had the Guide to Assignments book for the club really since the very early days. And most of the time it's an 8-page book we used to print and give out to new members and still available on our website as a download. But 14 years ago, we converted it to what we call our online Guide to Assignments. These become quite famous in the Toastmasters world. They're referred to by people who find out all over the Toastmasters world come to look at these guides. But for any assignment a member has, they click on a link, up to comes a page, they can print out a checklist, what to do before the assignment, during the assignment, after the assignment, and away. And we complement those with very detailed how to do things the Parramatta way for all the officer roles, and all the speechcraft roles, all the speechcraft educational resources, and all the club educational resources. It's all on the website. It all works tied in together. So it's been very important for us that the website sets a standard, people referring to it there. It basically is about those resources and ensuring we have a standard of excellence at every member and every officer at every meeting. And that's the expectation that's given to every member when they understand that. So those are the three aspects that really define our culture. Our speechcraft system, our evaluation standard, and our website resources. They work together to mesh and meld and keep Toastmasters all together. But what's the aim of the culture? This is where I have to dispel a myth. Because we continually hear about Parramatta Club, people around the district who don't know the club, saying, oh, Parramatta is all about producing champions. It's all about producing top leaders. It's all about winning club awards. As members know, nothing could be further from the truth. Our whole focus is on our members. The whole focus of our culture, from these three aspects I described, is on having our members perform and learn and help themselves. It's a completely unintended byproduct. If you do this well, champions just seem to arise. People just stay and become top leaders. Look at the club now. We're only a community club, not an advanced club. Yet 10 of our members are DTMs, Distinguished Toastmasters. How many ordinary clubs would have 10 Distinguished Toastmasters? But the fact that we have 10 is not because we set out to have 10, or even any DTMs. It's just that from this culture, it's a byproduct that they arise. But the aim of the culture is expressed very simply. Our aim as a club is simply to focus on our members, and our aim is expressed in our motto of simply helping our members help themselves, develop the skills, to go and help other people.